Ugh.
Oh my God, you won't believe what happened.
The sound of her laughter, sharp and cruel, cut through the haze of my confusion. It wasn't the laughter I knew, the one that had once felt like sunlight. This was different, laced with a venom I didn't recognize. I stood frozen in the dim hallway, just outside the half-open door to our study, the grocery bag still heavy in my hands. Honestly, Mark, it's almost pathetic. My wife, Chloe's, voice dripped with contempt through the phone she was on. He's so wrapped up in his little world, trying to make his boring architecture firm work, that he doesn't see what's right in front of him. He thinks this marriage is some sacred thing. It's adorable, really. A low, masculine chuckle echoed from the speakerphone. A chuckle I knew. David, my so-called friend and business partner. So what's the plan then? David asked, his voice intimate, familiar. The plan. Chloe scoffed. There is no plan. I'm having my fun. When I'm done, when I've bled him dry of any last usefulness, I'll dump him. It's that simple. I can dump him anytime I want. He's so desperate to keep me, he'd forgive me for anything. He's weak. And when I do, you and I can finally stop hiding. We'll take his share of the firm and live properly. The world tilted. The floor beneath my feet felt like it was dissolving into sand. The words, dump him anytime, echoed in my skull, a taunting mantra. Each syllable was a shard of glass grinding into my soul. I saw 7 years of marriage, of shared dreams and whispered promises, not just shatter, but revealed as a grotesque, elaborate lie. I wasn't her husband. I was her placeholder. Her prey. The betrayal was a physical blow, a white-hot brand of injustice searing away the man I was. The humiliation was complete, absolute. I had been living a life designed for my own eventual destruction. Silently, I backed away, the groceries abandoned on the hall table. The game had just begun, but she didn't know the rules had changed. The following weeks were a masterclass in emotional dissection. I became a ghost in my own home, a silent observer studying the subject of his own annihilation. I watched Chloe, my wife, with the cold, analytical detachment of an architect surveying a condemned building. Every affectionate touch she offered now felt like a spider's caress. Every complaint about my distractedness was a melody in her symphony of manipulation. I recorded her phone calls when I could, my stomach churning as I collected the evidence of her deceit, each recording a nail in the coffin of our marriage. The rage was a living thing, a caged beast in my chest that demanded to be fed. It ate away at me, replacing sleep with scheming, replacing love with a cold, focused hatred. I'd stare at my reflection in the blueprints on my desk, seeing a stranger with hollow eyes. This revenge was not a path to peace. It was a cancer, and I was willingly injecting it into my own veins. My work at the firm suffered. David, my partner and her lover, would clap me on the back, his face a mask of concern. You okay, mate? You seem distant. The hypocrisy was so thick I could taste it, metallic and bitter. The plan was simple, elegant in its cruelty. I would not confront her. I would not give her the satisfaction of a messy, emotional split where she could play the victim. I would simply remove her world, brick by brick, until she stood exposed in the cold. The first brick was financial. I quietly separated our joint accounts, siphoning funds into a new, private one. I met with a lawyer, the best I could afford, and laid out my evidence. He smiled a thin, professional smile. This is quite compelling, Mr. Reed. We can proceed with confidence. The second brick was the house. My house, purchased before the marriage with my inheritance. I waited for a day she was out, supposedly at a spa day. I knew was a lie. With a crew I paid in cash, I changed every lock, installed a state-of-the-art security system, and packed every single one of her belongings into neatly labeled boxes. I placed them in the garage. She was erased. But the final brick, the cornerstone of my revenge, was the most destructive. It came to me during a strained family dinner. My eyes fell on Chloe's younger sister, Amelia. Where Chloe was sharp angles and calculated charm, Amelia was all softness and genuine warmth. She had always been kind to me, often casting sympathetic glances my way during Chloe's particularly cutting remarks. She was the one person who saw the real Chloe. An idea, terrible and perfect, blossomed in the dark soil of my rage. I asked her out for coffee under the pretext of discussing a family matter. She agreed, her face etched with concern. Over lattes, I didn't lie. I didn't need to. I showed her a single, damning audio clip. I watched the color drain from her face, watched the tears well in her eyes. Not for herself, but for me. Oh, Mark, I'm so sorry. I always knew she was capable of being cruel, but this. Her empathy was a key that unlocked a door I thought I'd sealed shut. We started talking. Really talking. Our shared understanding of Chloe's toxicity became a foundation. My initial intention was purely to weaponize the connection, to inflict the deepest cut possible. But Amelia was real. Her kindness was not a performance. Our dates became the only respite from the all-consuming darkness of my plan. I was torn constantly. Was I protecting a budding connection with a truly good person, or was I meticulously setting a trap for my wife using her own sister as bait? The line blurred until it was invisible. I was no longer just an architect of buildings, but of human devastation, and I was willing to burn down everything, including my own remaining humanity, to see it through. The day of the reckoning arrived with the sound of furious pounding on my new, reinforced front door. I peered through the camera to see Chloe, her face a mask of tear-streaked rage, yanking on the unyielding handle. A satisfied calm settled over me. The beast was fed. I opened the door. She tried to storm in but stopped short, bewildered by the new keypad beeping on the wall. What the hell is this, Mark? My key doesn't work. All my stuff is in the garage. Have you lost your mind? No, I said, my voice eerily calm. I found it. And my keys. And my self-respect. Her eyes widened, then narrowed, the predator sensing a shift in the hunt. What is that supposed to mean? This isn't funny. Let me in right now. You no longer live here, Chloe. Your things are packed. My lawyer will be in touch. You're being served for divorce on the grounds of adultery and financial malfeasance. Your lover, David, has also been terminated from the firm. The board saw the financial discrepancies he was trying to hide. Quite the scandal. The color drained from her face. The script she had written was in tatters. This was not her weak, forgiving husband. This was someone else. She sputtered. You can't prove anything. I'll deny it all. I'll tell everyone you abused me. I'll ruin you. I simply smiled, a cold, empty thing. I have proof. Audio proof. Of you and David. Of you bragging about how you can dump me anytime. It's all very clear. The shock on her face was priceless. It was everything I had wanted. But then, her expression shifted from shock to a sneer. You think you've won? You're a pathetic little man who had to record his wife because he's so insecure. You're nothing without me. It was then that Amelia's car pulled into the driveway. She got out, looking hesitant but resolute, having come over at my text to see the final act. Chloe's head whipped around. Her confusion was absolute. Amelia? What are you doing here? Amelia walked up and stood beside me, not touching me, but her solidarity was a physical force. I came to support Mark, Chloe. Chloe looked between us, the pieces clicking into a horrifying picture in her mind. The betrayal that flashed in her eyes was a perfect mirror of my own from weeks ago. It was the pinnacle of my revenge. I had served her heartbreak on a plate of her own design. You, she whispered, her voice trembling with a new, raw hatred aimed at her sister. You're sleeping with him? My own sister. It's not like that, Amelia said, her voice soft but firm. But what you did, Chloe, it was monstrous. You don't get to play the victim here. Chloe's face crumpled. This was the wound that went deeper than the divorce, deeper than losing the money. This was a fundamental rewriting of her family narrative, a permanent stain on her ego. She launched into a tirade, a whirlwind of venom and vitriol, accusing us of the most sordid conspiracy. But as I watched her unravel, as I saw the genuine, world-shattering pain in her eyes, something unexpected happened. The cold satisfaction I had craved began to curdle. This wasn't justice. It was a mutilation. I saw the broken woman before me, not the monster of my narrative. My revenge had not filled the hollow space inside me. It had simply carved it out wider, making room for more darkness. I had used Amelia, a truly good person, as a pawn in my war. I had become the architect of my own moral collapse. The climactic confrontation ended not with a bang, but with a broken whisper from Chloe. I hate you both, she said, before turning and walking away, her shoulders slumped in a defeat so total it was terrifying. Silence descended on the driveway. Amelia was crying quietly. I looked at her, at the pain my plan had caused her, and the final veil of my rage lifted. "I'm sorry," I said, the words tasting like ash. "I used you. I started us to hurt her. It was wrong." Amelia wiped her tears. "I know," she said, stunning me. "I think a part of me always knew. But I also saw the pain you were in. And I saw the man you were underneath it. I thought maybe I could help you find him again." Her words were the unexpected turning point. Her kindness, even in the face of my manipulation, was a truth more powerful than any revenge. It made me question everything. Would this path ever have brought peace? No. It would only have perpetuated the cycle of pain. The resolution was not immediate forgiveness or a fairy tale romance with Amelia. It was a long, hard road. I had to let go of the rage that had defined me for months. I had to face the immense cost of my revenge, the person I had become. Chloe got her divorce, and a settlement far less than she wanted, but far more than my darkness thought she deserved. Justice was served, but not by my hand. True peace came not from her destruction, but from my own decision to stop the cycle. Amelia and I took time apart. I needed to rebuild myself, not as an avenger, but as a man. Eventually, a real, honest connection grew, one built on truth, not on the ashes of revenge. The deep, inspiring message wasn't about the sweetness of payback, but about its immense, corrosive cost. Revenge is a hunger that consumes the plate it's served on. Letting go isn't about excusing the wrong done to you. It's about refusing to let that wrong define you and dictate your future. It is the ultimate reclamation of power, not over the one who hurt you, but over your own life. Moral of the story: true strength is not measured by the depth of your vengeance, but by the courage it takes to lay down your sword and refuse to let another's cruelty dictate your character.